Okay, so for this video, we're going to be talking about how positive and negative numbers influence the outcome of the functions they're involved in. So for the first function here, we have simple addition, a positive number plus a negative number. So anytime you're adding a negative number, it's going to be equivalent to subtracting a positive number, and vice versa. As a real world example, 3 plus negative 2 is equal to 1. And 3 minus positive 2 is equal to 1 as well. That's because they are equivalent functions. So in short, adding a negative is the same as subtracting a positive. Now, if you take two positive numbers and multiply them together, you'll get a positive outcome like you might expect. For example, 3 times 3 is equal to 9. However, if you multiply a negative and a positive number together, you'll always get a negative number. So, negative 3 times 3 is equal to negative 9. The same way that 3 times negative 3 is equal to negative 9. And lastly, if you multiply two negative numbers together, you'll get a positive number. So, negative 3 times negative 3 will be equal to positive 9. Now, if we go over here, we'll talk about division. So, same basic rules. If you have two positive numbers, if you take a positive number and divide by another positive number, you'll get a positive number out. 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. However, if you start with a negative number, divide that by a negative number, you'll also get a positive number. So for example, negative 4 divided by negative 2 is equal to positive 2. Same as it is for multiplication. Similarly, if you have a negative number being divided by a positive number, you'll get a negative outcome. If you have a positive number divided by a negative number, you'll have a negative outcome as well. So lastly, let's talk about exponents. So, when you go into math, you might think that negative 2 squared and negative 2 squared would be equivalent functions. However, they are not. And the reason for this is, this negative sign outside the parentheses due to PEMDAS makes this function happen first. Whereas in this one, the negative 2 is inside the parentheses, and so we just have negative 2 squared. So work this out. If you work this out, we just have 2 times 2 with a negative sign outside of it. Whereas over here, we have negative 2 squared, which would just be negative 2 times negative 2. Well, we know we have 2 times 2, that's going to give us a positive number, like as shown here. But we have this negative sign outside the equation, so this would be negative 4. Over here, we have negative 2 times negative 2. So we multiply two negative numbers together, we'll also get a positive. And so this one will be positive 4. And therefore, these are not equal. And we'll be talking more about that in our PEMDAS video.